Hey guys, LSB Fear here, bringing you another commentary, and wow, I am a goofball because guess what I did the first try? I messed up. Oh my god, that was the worst mess up I've had in a long time. And for you guys wondering what exactly happened, well, I had done the commentary, right, and I had uploaded it to YouTube, and I checked it when it was done to make sure it was good, and it was alright, but the problem I didn't realize at the time when I checked it was the fact that my game volume was too high and my commentary volume had a background game volume. I know that kind of doesn't make much sense, but what happened was I was playing through my speakers the video while I was doing the commentary, which amateurs do, and I'm an amateur, so excuse me for that. I took down the video so you don't have to see that nonsense, and I feel it better at commentating today anyways than I did before. But if you want special access to that video and all its horribleness, then yes, I can give you that access. Just tell me, just send me a message. And anyways, but what I want to talk about today was the dawn of FPS, first-person shooters, and talk a little bit about my past, because I have a vivid past of first-person shooters and all that shebang. But so what in my experience I've learned about first-person shooters is that, well, there's a lot of them, and there always has been. But in the recent generations, there have been a lot more input and output. Sorry, I'm putting math in there. I know how much I hate math. I know how much you guys probably do too. But what I mean by input and output is like compared to back then, the output of first-person shooters was not as significant, and the input of money, the amount of money people get from them, like the publishers and stuff, was not as much either. Back in my time of PS2, I had Medal of Honors. I had all the Medal of Honors, and I loved the game. It's a great game and everything, and back then they sold decent, but they did not sell nearly as well as the evolving franchise, Call of Duty and Battlefield and all these other people. They sold a lot better than Medal of Honor, the original shooters back then. And that's a sad fact because those games were good. But see, the problem with those games is the story mode was all they had. And PS2 lacked, even the early Xbox, they both lacked in sheer online power. And to make up for it, the developers made just basically just story modes, and some story modes are really good. I liked I think it was Medal of Honor Frontline, I think it was, that had a pretty good one. But a lot of those games like that, they had story modes and didn't have multiplayer modes, and I think the main reason they didn't have multiplayer is because multiplayer for consoles was not even heard of, in my opinion. There was a PS2, they had tried to make a PS2 server. That didn't go over well because not a lot of people were playing it, and just didn't become real popular. First-person shooters weren't refined enough to put on PS2, and it just didn't work till Call of Duty for the Xbox 360, and that really took off. We'll talk about that later. So, and that's what there was, a story mode, and that's what made it was good back then. But for now, different standards. And for the right now, multiplayer has evolved. Multiplayer has become splendid, and in a way that's unheard of. Multiplayer is now multiplayer is the main concept behind gaming, and it's become so influential in developers' decisions to make games. Prime example of this, Call of Duty. In general, Call of Duty has been a great game over the years to really put the market on a standstill. Developers have always tried to find ways to beat Call of Duty, and I'm not really sure if they're doing that right now. But I do know Call of Duty has competition now, unlike ever before. They used to be the only franchise out there, but now Battlefield, DICE is starting to catch up a little bit. Medal of Honor, I'm sure, and I hope they make a better one than they did this year, but I'm sure they will. It's a very dedicated franchise and everything, as I keep saying. But so Call of Duty has been untouched a lot, not even recently, just a lot, period, since the days back then and the days now. So what I'm trying to get at with multiplayer evolves is the more the more Call of Duty makes, the more money is being spent equals the amount of gamers that are playing that game. And if there's more gamers playing that game, that means the market is expanding. Now, if you don't get what I'm saying, what I'm basically saying is the more people that buy Call of Duty are the more gamers. The more people that buy Call of Duty equals the more gamers that are in the market. So if someone doesn't pick up games until they buy Call of Duty is essentially helping the market. They're essentially getting gamers to buy those games and then possibly more games when they get more interested. You get what I'm saying? It's a little bit of that. It's kind of like the economy and businesses and all that shabam. But yeah, that's basically how it goes. And also, first-person shooters are more focused than ever. It's a more focused genre. Now people, all they do is make first-person shooters, and that can be kind of good and bad. My opinions on that is I love first-person shooters, but I also like sports games. And unfortunately, sports games haven't gotten much of the attention that the first-person shooter games have. I know Madden's out there, I know NCAA, but those are football games. I'm a baseball player, and MLB The Show hasn't really took off in my eyes because it's for PS3, and there's no really decent Xbox MLB game. But that's besides the point. I'm talking about first-person shooters here. I go off on sports. My bad, everybody. My bad. But the bottom line is what I'm trying to say is that first-person shooters have just moved into a different direction. But my question is, and the next thing we're going to talk about is it good? Is it good that they're just constantly going at this pace? Because however, they did move it into a different direction since back in the old days. They're starting to go at a steadier pace, and that's kind of worrying me because when shooters don't try to revolutionize their own innovations over time, it kind of puts the repetitive thought in mind, like, okay, we're going to get the same game, different packaging, different story mode that no one even cares about, by the way, but the same multiplayer, and that's kind of what's discouraging a little bit, that they're not making innovations like they should. I think Call of Duty's doing their best, but eventually I think that new blood needs to take over, and the veterans know what they're doing. Call of Duty whoops. Infinity Ward, when they made the Call of Duty game, made Modern Warfare, they knew what they were doing. Activision and DICE, all these guys, they knew what they're doing. But I think that eventually a new brand, a new publisher needs to show its face and show the world what they can do. Because I'm sure some of those underground publishers have like the greatest technology. They're just not revealing it. Look at what Fallout became into. Fallout took a long time. Fallout 3 took a long time to become a good game, and it still has its bugs, but it became a revolutionary game in the sense that you could go in this expansive world and play in a first-person shooter kind of aspect, and it was really great. And I know that has nothing to do with Call of Duty, but it's still a first-person shooter, and that is in the same genre, in my opinion. I know it's a kind of adventure a little bit, but hey, whatever, get off my back. But what I'm trying to say, and I'm saying this a lot in the commentary, is that first-person shooters are now, and they are the future. And if you don't like that, then I'm sorry, but you're not in with the millions of people that do. And that's just the bottom line. Unless you out there listening to this can make a better game than the ones that are already here making billions of dollars, then you just have to sit back and watch. And you have to sit back and watch as the first-person shooter genre continues to grow and hopefully doesn't stagnate anytime soon. But that's basically what the whole commentary is about, is just talking about the future and what I expect. I expect games to really take off. I really want Call of Duty to go in a new direction. Not like an off-the-wall direction. I personally didn't like Halo. I know that millions of people, if they could look back in time, back at my commentaries, like 30 years later, and they see this video, they're probably gonna be like, Satus, he doesn't like Halo. No, that's not it. I just never really got into the whole aspect of what it was trying to do. I was more for the warfare kind of person, the shooter and the you know what I mean, the gunplay and all that stuff. I was used to that kind of stuff, but that's beside the point. Again, I'm off topic. My bad, but this is my second try, and I needed some things to say. But anyways, the whole thing is that first-person shooters are great, sports games are great, and that's what you should learn by this commentary. But that's all everybody's opinion. Now, for what I think, what I would do in gaming if I were developers, I would try to make the most revolutionary game possible. I don't care if it takes 3 or 4 years. I would try to make something no one else did. I'm thinking kind of like a a gravity kind of game. You know what I mean? You take control of gravity, do something with the guns. I don't know, just some nonsense. But anyways, that's my commentary. Updates in the future. I'm pulling a lot of stuff for you guys. I'm trying to put more videos up. Machinima's going well. I did a dual com with my buddy NORAD, and hopefully it'll be up pretty soon. But hey, guys, looking forward to everything I'm doing. You guys.